Starting with our big story, Germany claims to have found irrefutable evidence that prominent Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny was poisoned. A military lab in Germany has found traces of Novichok, a Soviet-era nerve agent, in Navalny's body. Novichok is a nerve agent developed by the Soviet Union and later Russia between 1971 and 1993. Multiple laboratories confirmed that Novichok was used to poison Sergei and Yulia Skripal in the Salisbury poison case in 2018. Traces of Novichok further strengthen the case that Navalny was poisoned by the Russian establishment. Now, Germany is planning to notify its European and NATO partners about the test results. Berlin is also demanding an urgent clarification from Moscow on how a Soviet-era nerve agent was detected in Navalny's body. The chemical weapons watchdog has also been contacted by the German government. Germany's findings contradict the version put forward by the Russian authorities. The Siberian hospital where Navalny was admitted had completely ruled out poisoning. Russia has also refused to open a criminal probe into Navalny's poisoning. But this new evidence has made the Kremlin's position untenable. Novichok is a nerve agent that has been regularly associated with the Russian regime. Although Moscow denies using it, multiple spy agencies in the West have confirmed that Russia produces Novichok for covert operations. Fred Weir, Russian affairs expert, joins us live from Moscow for more on this. Good evening. Thank you for being with us. Germany says that they have found irrefutable evidence that Alexei Navalny was poisoned, and not just that, but with Novichok. Take us through the significance of this finding.
Well, the significance is that it's a complete mystery. I mean, really, if the ruthless agents of Vladimir Putin are using the world's deadliest nerve agent to kill opponents, how is it that they all keep surviving? I mean, I'm not trying to make light of it. It's horrifying and scary, but something more is going on here than meets the eye. It also doesn't make sense that Putin would want Navalny dead. Actually, Navalny in this situation, poisoned, is a far greater embarrassment and humiliation to Putin than Navalny walking around alive was. So there is something, perhaps something within the inner workings of the Russian elite or secret services. There's definitely something going on. But the very use of Novichok, it plants a flag on a poisoning. If you just wanted to kill opponents, I'm pretty sure that Russian secret services know how to do that, or Russian criminals to know how to do that reliably and efficiently without creating this massive scandal which the word Novichok evokes. So it's a mystery, and I know there are many, many simple narratives that we could go with, but I'm not going to do that, but I remain completely baffled by this.
Right. Now, Germany has requested clarification from Moscow. Has there been any response from the Kremlin yet? And why was the Siberian hospital where he was first admitted initially ruling poisoning out?
Well, that I don't know. I'm not a scientist or a doctor, and that's part of the mystery here. I think that in a more rational world, medical establishments could sit down, share their data, struggle it out between them, and come up with answers, because we desperately need answers. But in this world where we live, the Germans are demanding the Russians give information. The Russians are demanding that the Germans turn over the medical records, or they won't start a criminal investigation until they have proof of poisoning, which is not a completely unreasonable point of view. But if neither of them will sit down and have a dialogue, I mean, a serious dialogue, then this is where we're going to be left. We're going to be left believing whatever narrative we choose to believe, and having no reliable or truthful answers ever about this.
Absolutely. And this, of course, is not the first time that a Kremlin critic, as you've mentioned, has been poisoned. take us through some of the other stories. Most recently was Yulia Skripal in the Salisbury case.
Yes. There have been a string of these poisonings, several of them. The first one, of course, was Alexander Litvinenko in London, who was poisoned with polonium, famously. And the others have been various Kremlin critics. There's Vladimir Kara-Murza, who was poisoned twice. There's Pyotr Verzilov, one of the founders of Pussy Riot, who was poisoned and medevac to Germany a couple of years ago. Julia and Sergei Skripal, of course, and now Navalny. And all of them, with the exception of Alexander Litvinenko, have survived. Vladimir Kara-Murza was poisoned twice and survived, and that's a strange thing. I mean, again, I'm not advocating this or making light of it, but if Putin's agents are as ruthless as they're reputed to be, how come they can't get a thing like that done? Maybe they're signaling something. Maybe someone else is signaling something. But there have been a string of these things. They're all as mystifying as this one.
Right, and one last thing before I let you go. Do we know the status of Navalny's health at the moment? And Germany is going to be notifying its European Union members as well as the NATO allies. What then?
Yeah, we don't know anything more than the Germans are saying, but they say he's out of danger, that his condition is stable, which means he will survive. And this will, I think, if Germany goes that route, and there's no reason why they shouldn't, of informing NATO allies and so on, then it will become just another one of those cases, things that we point to Russia and say Putin's regime is a monstrous abortion or something, and we won't get any answers or any resolutions. And the Russians will, and I live here in Russia, and I know how they respond. They respond by saying this is all anti-Russian propaganda. They're making this up, and that's where we'll be left, with this finger pointing and shouting and no clear answers.
Right. Fred, thank you very much for joining us for all the latest on this breaking story.